It's an exciting time to be a woman. From opportunities in education to growth at work, a multitude of professional avenues cutting across sectors have seen women come out on top. Space, sports, manufacturing, media, fashion, technology, you name it, and we women are on top everywhere. But even as Indian women chart their ambitious course at the office, at home, and in society, have they settled down in one of their most important relationships? That with their own money. Hello and welcome to Season 2 of Financial Quotient, a CNBC-TV18 initiative that looks to raise the conversation on the need for women to take charge of their own financial destiny. Over the course of the next several weeks, we will debate, discuss and bring out solutions on all aspects of women and money, financial decision-making, savings, investing, and of course, knowing your legal rights and financial obligations as a woman. I'm your host, Surabhi Upadhyay, and I am delighted to welcome a panel of seasoned finance professionals to kick off this series this week. Usha Thorat, former Deputy Governor of the Reserve Bank of India and the Chair of the SEBI Mutual Fund Advisory Committee. Manisha Girotra, CEO of Moelis India. Devina Mehra, Founder, Chairperson and MD of First Global, and Mr. Rajnish Kumar, former Chairman of the State Bank of India. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining in. It's an absolute pleasure to welcome you on what is a really important initiative for us here at CNBC TV18. I'm so glad you could take out the time. So usually we say ladies first, but ladies, allow me to say the man goes first today. So the floor opens with who else than Mr. Rajnish Kumar, someone who's a veteran, who's seen this market, who's seen how banks are looking at getting new customers and the importance of women in all of this. Opening thoughts, Mr. Kumar.
Yeah, so I'm presuming that your show is for the professional women who are working.
It could be for students who are looking to work, Mr. Kumar. It could be for professional working women. It could be for women who are taking a mid-career break. It could be for a lady heading towards retirement. The idea is to raise the bar, raise the conversation on financial awareness with respect to money and really take charge.
No, one thing is very certain that if we talk about women empowerment, then it is not complete unless financial literacy, financial inclusion, and capability to transact with money is there. And the starting point is having a bank account and the capability to operate it. And in the journey towards investing, the first comes banking, then comes simple insurance products or insurance, and then comes the capital market. Because capital market requires a lot of sophistication. If there is no understanding, and if anybody, man or woman, if they depend upon only on advisors, then there is every chance that there could be mis-selling, there could be cheating, there could be whatever money one has saved, it could be lost. So it has to be a step-by-step process. And then, of course, depending upon the money which one has and the risk appetite, which all again depends upon the income, the age group, the literacy level. So there are so many factors and so many dimensions when it comes to spending money, saving money, and investing money.
Sure, absolutely. Ladies, let me come to each one of you, and I want to draw from your vast experience. Ms. Thorat, if you could, take this one up to begin with. In your observation over your experience, when you see women around at home or in professional life, you observe women in general, what is the approach to money? And has the level of awareness increased? Have women gotten more savvy over the years?
In general, I would say Indian women leave money and finance matters to the men. Whether they be it fathers or brothers or husbands. And there'll be perhaps very few women like me whose husband prefers that money and finance matters I'm the one who deals with. I think this comes from the role of women in society from time immemorial. And what is surprising is, despite all the education and despite all the liberalization and despite all the, how much women have become now much more independent in their thinking, but somehow they don't want to deal with their finances and their family's finances. it's something like this phobia about maths. No, I can't do maths. Women can't do maths. That kind of a thing. And I am really feeling that women, it's complete myth. It's a complete myth that women cannot manage money or be responsible for that financial investment. And I think it's absolutely imperative. I think it's completely gender agnostic, financial savviness or financial quotient. It depends on the exposure, awareness, and most of all, interest. And I think there is a change. There is no doubt a change. We have seen a lot of women investors coming into the markets. We've seen, and in rural India, the self-help group movement itself, empowerment of women started through the opening of a bank account for the self-help group.
Yeah.
But I think there is a long, long way to go, especially amongst the educated, especially amongst the working women. They still don't realize the importance of managing their own money till one day there's some kind of a shock. Either they get divorced or they lose their husbands. And then suddenly they found they don't know anything at all. And I think that's very unfortunate. It's absolutely essential that programs like yours, a lot of awareness has to be created, a lot of education has to be incurred. And I think women just have to understand that it is high time they took charge of their own money.
Well, ma'am, absolutely. That's why we're delighted that, all of you could join us, because your voices will be inspirational. Manisha, let me come to you. Your thoughts on this issue and whether you've seen a certain sense of evolution, or do you think things are a little stagnant, as Ms. Thorat pointed out, that we're okay to manage maybe our careers or take on other responsibilities, but just hesitant to take charge of money?
So, I think I will also disappoint on that front, which is that, I haven't seen women wanting to take charge of their financial life to the extent that I would like to. I think it's very slow, even including in organizations like ourselves, banks, investment banks. Women tend to leave the financial savings part of their lives to their husbands, brothers, fathers. And, this all comes from the patriarchal mindset that we've been born into, where women had no access to inheritance or savings. And that's how, to Rajnish's point, you basically didn't have a financial seat on the table, and hence the patriarchy continued. So I think that mindset continues. And as Usha said, basically, even today, 70% of women find the financial jargon too complex and complicated. They don't want to invest time in, reading balance sheets, understanding markets. Men, their husbands, their spouses on the other part, basically exude extreme confidence investing in the markets. I mean, they exude so much confidence. It is definitely not equal to competence. I see a lot of men losing money more than women. It's statistically been proven like that too. But I think women just feel, and these are educated women, educated in the world of finance, they feel we are multitasking too much. This is the one role that the husband or the father is willing to take on. So they delegate it to them till such time as things really go wrong. So unfortunately, I think less than 10% of women are taking charge of their financial savings, even in educated urban India. And I think that's a very disappointing number. Slowly changing as the bank accounts, etc., are changing, but the pace is too slow.
Multitasking and then therefore delegating money to others, that was one of the most important things in my mind when I was drawing up a list of questions. I'm going to come back to that, Manisha. But Devina, let's get some quick opening thoughts from you as well on this issue.
I would broadly agree with what Usha ji and Manisha said. And as I always say, ladies, what's your excuse? And the excuses are some of the things which have been talked about. One, I see this with my old friends. They might be a senior civil servant, they might be a senior scientist, but the money is still being managed by the husband. And one of the reasons, of course, is that this is one thing the husband is happy to do. The woman already has too many things on her plate and she thinks, okay, he's happy to do it, let him do it. One thing off my head. But that's a wrong attitude. And as Manisha said, I keep repeating this ad infinitum. Confidence is not equal to competence. It is true when you are hiring. It is true of the men in your life, that just because they act confident doesn't mean that they know actually anything more than you. And data shows again that the investing results for women are better, but they are less confident. And also one more thing I would like to add, that if you are going out of the absolutely risk-free end, the fixed deposit end, and let us say you are investing at all in anything with an equity component to it, which you have to if you want your long-term compounding, then, there will be losses at some point in time.
Yeah.
As they say in software, it's a feature, not a bug. But when losses happen, let's say a woman makes a loss, the husband will say, you didn't know anything, kya karne ki zarurat thi? She herself will beat herself up. Whereas if the husband makes a loss, the wife might be even, would not even want to question is that why spoil the peace in my home. So the attitudes for loss making by men and women are different within the family, are different within themselves. So,
Sure.
I mean, be confident enough to say that, yes, I'm going on this journey and at some point I will make a loss. But on the other hand, I've also seen a few women go from absolutely risk-free and straight to say that I'll become a day trader or a crypto trader or option trader. So don't do that either.
No, fair,
so, balance that risk.
Fair enough. Mr. Kumar, you represent the male voice and the male point of view on the panel. So tell us, who's at fault? We women ourselves, because we are only too happy to delegate and leave the job to the men? Or do the men have a bigger role as well in sort of cajoling and supporting and pushing women to take charge of financial decision making?
No, I think my answer would be largely that the blame, if you call it, or whatever it is, it lies at the door of women. In my own personal case, I have been persuading and trying to persuade my wife to learn to open and operate a bank account. And I have not been able to convince her so far. So I think investing comes much later, as I said, but even having a bank account, and now everything is available online, and it is so easy, but still that willingness sometimes is not there. But for professionally engaged women or who are working, who have independent source of income, who are more, I would say, aware about the general economy or the financial markets or bank. So why should be there hesitancy on their part? That is for me very difficult to explain.
No, I think the answer lies in something that Manisha hinted at earlier, complexity and managing multiple roles. And that's something that we really want to address. So we will take a very quick break on this note. Come back and I'll present some data which is at least a little more optimistic on the mutual fund side, where it seems that the participation of women in the mutual fund sector, that's at least increasing. We'll talk about that and more in just a bit.